Hello everyone. Today we're going to be covering demonstrations of the various hotkeys that I recommend for Windows and other software. And we won't be covering every single one that's out there, but these are going to be the most common ones that are likely to add value to your day-to-day work and time spent on a computer. The amount of time that you're going to save using these compared to doing it the traditional way, just going to be night and day. You're going to be blazing around a computer if you're able to master these things. For a full list of all the hotkeys that I recommend, there's a link in the description to a Google Sheets sheet which lists a whole bunch. But today we're just going to cover the most important ones that are likely to add value to you. Okay, we're going to do a hotkey demonstration to prove to you that hotkeys are significantly faster than doing it the traditional way of just kind of using the mouse. So for this test, we're going to open Chrome, open a new tab. We're going to search Wikipedia for dog, copy the first two paragraphs, open Word, paste the first two paragraphs as plain text, format the title in all caps, bold, and underline it. We're going to print it, we're going to save it, and then we're going to close Microsoft Word and Chrome, and we're going to see how we end up. Right, so we start off here on the desktop, open up Google Chrome, open up a new tab, type in wikipedia.com, and you go to the English one, type in dog. We're going to copy these two paragraphs, and for this I'll right click, copy, then we go down here to Word, blank document, right click, paste, and we're going to keep the text only. Then we select this, we make this bold, underlined, right here, make this all caps. Then we're going to File, Print, and print one copy. Then we're going to File, Save. We'll do Desktop, speed test 1. And then I'm going to close Word, close Chrome. That was the test. Here's the next step, doing it with hotkeys. Do Windows 1, Control-T, WP, dog. Then use the mouse, Control-C, Windows 4, Enter. Then I do Control-V, Control-T, text only. I do triple click that. I do Control-U, Control-B, Shift F3. Then we do Control-P, Enter, Control-S, computer, desktop, 2, bam, Alt F4, done. So I measured it, and the original test doing it the slow way took 61 seconds. I think I could have gotten that down probably another 3 to 5 seconds if I'd done a little bit better. Versus the hotkey one that took 33 seconds. So basically half as long to do the hotkey version of that. And so you won't always get a full 50% reduction in time on hotkeys, but it's not too far off. And given the amount of time that you're going to spend on the computer, at your job, and then also just in your life, if you could shave off half of your working time, that's an amazing increase in productivity, and it's well worth the investment to learn hotkeys and speed up your computing. I think you'll be a much faster and happier user as well once you learn hotkeys. All right, first I want to go over just a quick overview of hotkeys and how they work and all that jazz. So here's a example of layout of a keyboard, and so the way hotkeys work is you're going to press generally 2 keys at the same time to achieve a function. So if I want to copy something, I'm going to hold the Control key down, and I'm also going to hold the C down at the same time, and you just have to press them simultaneously, and you're good to go. If I want to open up the Windows or the Start menu, I just press the Windows key. If I want to, do a Windows action, then I'm going to search Windows, for example. I'll hold the Windows key and then also hold the F key. You just click them down once, and you're good to go. You can also do let's say you're wanting to Alt Tab between windows. So you press Alt and you press Tab. What you can do is you can just hold down Alt and just press Tab, and that will trigger it each time you press Tab. And so Alt by itself, Control by itself, all these do nothing pretty much. And so you can just hold them down and then press the second hotkey or the the second and third hotkeys that are required to trigger the action, and you'll be good to go. And that's how you trigger the hotkeys. The only other keys I might mention are going to be the F keys up here, and then maybe these keys over here, like page up, page down, home and end, and then that should pretty much be it. Everything else should be pretty self-explanatory. And you have Alt, your Windows key, Control, Shift, Tab, and that should about do it for the keys that we'll use. All right, the first one that I want to explain to you is going to be YouTube hotkeys. And the reason for that is you're going to probably want to be skipping around to YouTube quite a bit as you watch this video. So knowing the hotkeys and tips and tricks there, I think it will be very helpful to you. So here's a YouTube video. We see the video, it's taken up, not even a quarter of the screen right now. It's a tiny percentage of the screen. And, a lot of this information here is extraneous to me. I don't need it. So instead of running in this default view here, we'll go down to the bottom right and you'll see theater mode and then full screen. And full screen is good for some things, but oftentimes I want to be moving around my tabs, so I don't want to be in full screen. But I at least wanted to have the video take up more of my screen. So I've clicked into theater mode, which expands it a whole bunch, but still leaves me open with all the tabs. And then if I need to see the suggestions, I can just scroll down with the middle mouse button. And here we have some other settings which are going to be in here, and you can see there's autoplay. Right now it's off for me, but it might be on for you. And this means that YouTube will automatically play the next video after the video has finished up. And so you can just click that again and have it be off, which is what I prefer. And the most helpful one here is speed, and you can actually slow YouTube videos down so that they're it's kind of slow motion, and then you can also speed them up, and so you can watch them faster. And I do that a lot for a lot of different videos at either 1.25x or 1.5x, and there's a little bit of distortion in their voice at 1.5x, but usually you're doing pretty well for yourself. And saving 50% off of a video is, or not quite 50%, a third is pretty handy, and I recommend it. So you can give that a try. But the next thing that I'll do for making it look a little bit better is zooming in and out. And so right now we're at 100% zoom, and the video is taking up a lot of the screen, but still I don't really need this information here, and you can test it on your screen to see what you like. But what we're going to do is we're going to hold Control and then the plus sign at the same time, and that will zoom in, and potentially won't necessarily increase the video size per se, but it'll increase the font size for us. And then we can do Control minus to zoom out if we want to, or we can hold Control and do the middle mouse button and scroll, and that will zoom in and out for us. And you can kind of see which size feels right to you. But now for the actual hotkeys on YouTube that are very helpful. So the first one is anywhere on the page, you can just click or just press the F key on your keyboard, and it'll make it full screen. Press the F again, it takes you out of full screen. And it's very, very fast. If you're watching a video, just click F real quick, and bam, you're there, and then F, you're out. Next one is K, and K plays the video from anywhere. So just press K, playing, K pauses it, play, pause, super easy. And you don't have to have the player focused. You can be down here in the comments, and I press K, and it starts playing again. The next one is J and L. J moves backwards 10 seconds, and L moves forward 10 seconds. Regardless of where you are on the page. So press J, move back 10 seconds, L forward, so on and so forth. So let's say you're watching this video and you want to review the hotkey that I just mentioned. While we're playing, oh, I forgot what he just said. Press J, go ahead and restart, and you're right back there. Or you're bored, you want to move forward, L moves you forward 10 seconds. Super, super fast, easy, highly recommended. And those are the basic YouTube ones. There's more YouTube tricks in the page that I linked down below, but this will get you started just for this video. So now on to our Windows hotkeys, and the first one that we'll cover is Tab. And Tab is useful in pretty much every application, and it will cycle you forward through the fields or through any area web page. And so right here I'm signing up for a Gmail account, and what I can do is I'll type my name, and then rather than moving back to the mouse and clicking over here to the next field, I just click Tab, and it brings me right over there, and I can start typing my name again. Press tab again. I can choose my username, and see what happens there. Press tab again, and I can go through each field, moving forward without moving my hand back to the mouse. So much faster. The next one is Shift tab, which cycles you backwards through these fields. So if I'm down here and I need to go back up to change my name or something, I just click Shift tab. I hold this down at the same time, and I can just move backwards through the fields. So I got tab moving forwards, Shift tab moving backwards. Universally helpful. This will be one of the biggest time savers you have out there. Next up, we have Control F, and Control F in most applications, including Chrome, Firefox, all Microsoft applications, and almost everything, it brings up the search field to find things. So we press Control F, and over here at the top right, it brings up a search field, so I can start searching for text. And if I'm on a web page and I'm trying to find a thing rather than scrolling through it, it's so much faster just to have Google find it for you really, really fast. So if I'm looking for something, any hotkeys that use Alt, I'm going to type in ALT, and it will highlight them in green for me in Google Sheets. But what I can do over here is I can cycle them with these arrows, so it'll bring me through the page to highlight the ones that have it. And I can move much faster through the screen, and move backwards. And if it doesn't appear, then it will tell you. And so you can see here it says 0 of 0 results, super helpful. You definitely want to use Control F for almost everything, almost every program. The next search function is Windows key F, and hold it down at the same time. Do Windows F. And Windows 8, that brings up the search box over here on the right, and this lets me search for anything on my computer, files, folders, so on and so forth. So if I want to search for computer training, I just type that in, and it will automatically search the ones that include those keywords, even if those keywords appear inside of the file. So it's not just the title; it searches the actual contents of the document, which is really cool. And from pretty much anywhere, you just press Windows F, and that will bring that up. Then the next one is right click, and right click is basically brings up menu options for whatever the kind of context is. And so I'll right click here on the desktop, and I can, in the context specific ones, or I can sort my shortcuts. I can change how I view them. I can do a new folder. I can adjust the screen resolution, so on and so forth. Whereas if I'm in Chrome, and in Gmail, I just right click somewhere, and give me options here. I can go backwards, forwards, save it, print, a whole bunch of different context specific things. And so right clicking is super helpful all the time. Next one is Alt Tab, and I hold those at the same time, and that will cycle me through the windows that are open in Windows right now. So I press Alt Tab, and it brings up a list of the windows that are open. And I can just keep pressing, I hold Alt and I just keep pressing Tab, and it cycles me through the windows to get to the ones I want to get to, which is a lot faster than moving my hand back to the mouse and clicking on those. So if let's say I'm typing up here, and I need to go to my Word window, I have to take my hand off the mouse, move it down, have the accuracy to click it, versus being typing up here and then press Alt Tab, and I'm in the window right there. Really fast, very helpful for navigating yourself around Windows. Next one is a really cool thing that's new to Windows 8, and it's coming up. Actually, Windows 7 is the ability to move your windows automatically to the left and to the right. So what I'm doing is I'll hold the Windows key and press an arrow key, and I'll press Windows right, and that will it'll snap the window to take up exactly half of the screen on the right, and then I'll Alt Tab into Chrome and press Windows left, and now that'll take up half the screen. And so we're going to have two split windows perfectly. So let's say I've got a web page over here with content that I need, and I need to transcribe it or something like that into Word. I can be over here while the Google's on the left side, and just type in whatever's happening there. And very helpful. Then you can also do the other two hotkeys here are Windows down, and that will move it to it's a small window, and then Windows up, and that will make it a full screen window. And so if, I'm over here and I want this to be full screen, I could take my hand off the keyboard and grab the mouse and then try to go grab, press this button up here to make it full screen, or I can just press Windows up, bam, full screen, super fast. The next one is Alt F4, and it's kind of an awkward one, but it's awkward one kind of hand position wise, but it's useful as it's the shortcut to close most programs. So if I'm in Microsoft Word here, I can just press Alt F4 and it will close it for me. And I have content here, so I'll try to save it. I click Don't Save, and I'm just using the arrow keys to navigate here between the options. Tab also works, and Shift Tab works, but I just press Tab, enter it, Don't Save, and the thing is closed for me. And I can do the same thing works in Chrome. If I Alt Tab over here to Spotify and I want to close it, not use the mouse, Alt F4 closes instantly for me. Very, very helpful. Then next one is Control S, and in most programs this saves the file. So let's say you're in Word and you have a file, but want to save it. I could go File, Save, or Save As. Or I could click this shortcut which I put up here. Or just do Control S and it'll automatically start saving it for me, and much faster. Same deal with Control P, which opens up the print dialog. And it's faster than going to the menu and doing File, Print. Just do Control P from anywhere, and opens up the print dialog. This works in Google Chrome. So let's say I want to print this page, just Control P, opens up the print dialog. Very, very fast. Then next one is Windows D, and what this does is this shows the desktop from anywhere. So I press Windows key plus D, and it shows the desktop. So it doesn't matter how many windows I have open. I just press Windows D and it automatically takes me to the desktop. Very handy. And if you're on the mouse, you want to do the same thing. You just take the mouse, move it down here to the bottom right corner, and there's a little kind of hidden button here, and you just click in the bottom right corner. This will take you to the desktop, or if you're at the desktop, it'll take you back up to the full pages. And Windows D does the same thing, where you just press it, take it to the desktop, and then Windows D will remaximize your windows for you. Then another useful key is page up and page down, and these they're pretty clear. It'll basically just scroll the window so that it's exactly one page of the window screen is entered or is moved up and down. So if I am in Word here and I want to move, I'm just moving one page at a time. I just press page up and page down. And a little bit faster for navigating the web page, or document. Then another shortcut is Control Shift Escape, and this opens up the Task Manager in Windows, which is faster than doing Control Alt Delete and then clicking Task Manager. You can also right-click at the taskbar and click Task Manager to open it up, or you just from anywhere, Control Shift Escape, bam, you're right there. And you can close whatever thing you need to close, which is causing your computer trouble. And very handy. Then next one is the Windows key plus a number. And what this does is it accesses the programs here on your taskbar. So Windows 1 will access this first position, Windows 2 the second, Win 4 is the fourth position, Win 6 sixth position, so on and so forth. So if let's say I'm at the desktop here, and I want to access Google Chrome, I could Alt Tab into it because it's open. But I can also just press Win 1 and it will activate it. Let's say I want to activate Spotify here in the third position. I just press Win 3 and it opens up Spotify. Excel, I'm going to do Win 5, and much, much faster. Works from anywhere. Highly recommend it. And then I'll just press Alt F4 to close it, and I'm good to go. Then another one is obviously a very basic one here is just the Windows key by itself. And I press the Windows key by itself, and it opens up the Start menu for me. So if anywhere I want to be, I can press Windows key, and I'm back in the Start menu. And in Windows, the way their system works is it automatically puts the cursor down here, the search bar, and so I can start typing and do my search for whatever, and it'll give me. This is sorted by the document type. And it's akin to, it's usually the same search function as Windows key F, and so you can decide if it's easier for you just to press Windows and then start typing. Then let me see. The next one is Windows key plus L, and this locks the screen. So if you want to be in a secure environment, you can just press Windows key plus L, and I'm automatically locked out, so that if I need to leave my computer, I don't have to worry about somebody accessing my data, kind of thing. Okay, next up we're going to go over some typing and Word commands and tips and tricks there. And so the first one is going to be copy and paste. And a lot of people don't actually know about this function, and it's pretty much the greatest thing ever if you don't know about it. So what it does is, if we want to, let's say we have this block of text here, and we want to copy it, we want to make an exact copy of it, or move it around or whatever. What we can do would be to copy it, and to issue that command, over here we can go to cut, copy, or paste, and cut will copy it and also delete it. So if we press cut, it deletes it, and we find the place we want to put it, and we'll do paste over here, and it'll paste it. Alternatively, we can select the text we want to move around, and press Control C to copy it, find the place we want to be, and press Control V to paste it. So that's Control C to copy, Control V to paste it, and this works in almost any program. It works with images, like Control C, and then to cut is Control X. And so we'll select the text we want, press Control X, and that cuts it, and we find the place we want to paste it, and press Control V, and now it's pasted. Yeah, so Control C, Control X, and Control V are universal, and super good for manipulating text and all that kind of jazz. Then the next one is going to be undo and redo, and that's Control Z and Control Y. So let's say I'm typing here, I didn't actually want that text. I could delete it, and so I'm going to, but I don't want it there. So I'm going to press Control Z, and that undoes my last action. Or let's say that I accidentally deleted that text. Oh no, I did not mean to do that. I need to get that back. I'm going to press Control Z, and it's going to undo the action. And I can keep pressing Control Z and it'll keep undoing the actions that I did until I'm back at my original state. And if I ever want to redo an action, so if I press Control Z too much, I can just press Control Y, and it will redo the action. So let's say I'm over here, I type in some text, I press Control Z to untype it, I can press Control Y to redo it and revert back to my preferred state. What I can also do with Control Y is repeat an action. So let's say I want to bold this text here, and there's other text throughout the document that I want to bold. I can, instead of pressing bold the whole time, also to do this, you can go up here and press B to bold it, or I can just press Control B, and that does the same thing. But if I want to redo that action across multiple things, what I can do is I can press Control Y on the selected text, and that'll repeat the action that I just did. And that'll work throughout. I'll just keep doing it, if I want to. But you have to be careful, because it'll do the exact same action that you just did. So if you're like bolding text throughout the document, and you delete something, and then you go back to bolding text and you press Control Y, it's going to delete the text versus going back to bolding it. So you just got to be aware of that. But you always have Control Z to undo your action, and you're totally good to go. Next one is going to be moving around the text with the keyboard. So I have my cursor here. I'm going to zoom in a little bit so you can see. And so we have the cursor here. I can navigate. I can hold the arrow keys left and right down, to move a little bit faster. But it's still relatively slow versus moving to your mouse and then clicking through to where you want to be. What you can do instead is you can navigate a little bit faster by holding Control and press the arrow key. So Control is going to go one whole word at a time, and this works in most programs as well. Anything that has kind of any text manipulation, this more or less works. And I can go Control up and down, and that's going to go one paragraph at a time. And so Control left and right to move one word at a time, Control down and up to move one whole paragraph at a time. Then simultaneously, I can hold Shift to select this text. So let's say I need to select this first sentence. So I can move to my mouse, then click, and I can drag, and I'm good to go. Or I could hold Control, Shift, and an arrow key, and I've got the text selected. Or if I wanted to select the whole paragraph, just Control Shift down, I got the whole paragraph selected. Same here. Super handy. Next one is going to be we know about page up and page down. To move around just the whole document, we can do Control Page Down, Control Page Up, and that will move me to the very top and very bottom of the document. The next one is going to be the End and Home keys, and what these do is these move you to the top or the front and back of each line of text. So if I'm in the middle of the text here on the second line, I press Home, that takes me to the very left side of the text. I press End, that takes me to the very right side of the text. Another also helpful for moving around. Another selection tip is going to be pressing Control A, and Control A selects all the text in the whole document, all the text in the field if you're in Chrome or wherever. So I press Control A, and all the text everywhere is selected. So I select everything, and I can copy or I can delete it or whatever I want to do. It's much faster. If I'm in Google Chrome and I have a URL, I can press Control A and I select the whole URL. If I'm typing an email and I'm doing something here, I can press Control A. It'll select all the text in that field. Same with the subject. It'll Control A selects all the text. If I have a whole bunch of people that I'm emailing, I can press Control A and be good to go. Then next up, we're going to have double and triple clicking words. So I click once on a word here and just moves the cursor. If I double click that word, it selects that whole word, and then in Microsoft Word, it adds the space here as well, if it's relevant. But at the end of the period, it'll just do that. So double click, select the whole word, or I can triple click and I'll select the whole paragraph. So that's pretty handy. Then you can also just hold while you're doing the Control navigation here, or the Home or End navigation. You can hold Shift at the same time, and it'll select all the text in between there. So if I'm here and I want to select all the text from here to the beginning of the line, I hold Shift Home and I'm there, or Shift End, and that'll do it as well. It's pretty handy. And then last one is going to be the delete key, and you can do so like backspace, that deletes things to the left of the cursor. Delete key removes things to the right of the cursor. So if you're modifying a document, you need to get rid of this text to the right. I don't have to go arrow over and then press backspace. I can just press delete, and that'll delete stuff to the right. And most people know that, but just in case you don't know it, no worries. And next up, we're going to have some more specific word and word processing commands that might be helpful to you. So the first command is going to be adjusting the capitalization of the selection. And in Microsoft Word, what we can do is we can select some text. So let's say we select, let's go to this sentence. We'll select this whole sentence here, and let's say I want this whole thing to be capitalized. So I have it here. I could just retype it, which is a pain in the butt. Or I can hold Shift plus F3, and it will adjust it. And so it just made it so it's all capitalized. I can press and hold Shift F3 again, and that'll totally uncapitalize it. And if I press Shift F3 again, it makes it so that it's the first letter of each sentence is capitalized. Very helpful. I think so. We'll do a Shift F3, and then you can so much faster than having to manually retype stuff. Next one is going to be Control Spacebar. And what that does is it removes all the formatting from the text. So it makes it just your normal default text. So let's say I pasted in a bunch of text from Microsoft or from Google Chrome, and it's got all this fancy formatting, so on and so forth. And I want it to just be normal, plain, boring text. So what I can do is just Control Spacebar, and it's plain text again. The next kind of tip along those lines is going to be, let's say I'm copying and pasting this I'm pasting the whole thing from a web page, and it's got a whole bunch of extraneous stuff on it, and I just want the plain text. And so what I'll do, if I paste this normally, it comes up all kind of messed up and everything. What I can do, you press Control V in I think 2007 and beyond. I think it opens up this menu, and you have this this menu right here, which is your paste options menu, and you can click that. And there's the shortcut to do this is just press Control, and I'll do Control, and then over here you have merge formatting, and you have keep text only. And so if you want to merge the formatting with your styles in the document, you press M. If you want to keep the text only, you just press T. So we move from having it look like this, where it's all this junk from the web page, to pressing Control V to paste. I press Control again, and then I can press A or M to have it keep the text only. So I press T. I'm sorry, I said A or M. I meant T or M. And now it's just the plain text, so it's a lot easier to manipulate and not have a whole bunch of built-in HTML into the document. But I don't want that text there, so I just press Control Z to get it done. You will see in a later video for Auto Hotkey to make Control Shift V to make it paste the text only, and that works in all Google applications, where you just press Control Shift V and it'll automatically place. It'll just paste the text, no extra formatting, what have you. Then we have before we have Control B for bolding stuff, and you have Control U for underlining, versus selecting and then going up and clicking it. Control I for italicizing something. Then we can adjust the location of this. So if you want to have this center justified, we can do Control E, that makes it centered. Control R makes it right aligned. Control L makes it left aligned, and you'll probably use that quite a bit, much faster. Especially when you're typing, anytime you take your hand off the keyboard, you're slowing down. You're losing a half a second to a second, or more, depending on what it is. And it's just so much faster to do that. So if I have some plain text here, I need to make this the title. I just press Control End. Shift End, and I'll select it. Control E to center. Control B to make it bold if it wasn't bold. Control U to underline. And I got myself a title there. Next we have we already know about Control Home and Control End. That'll get you to the top and bottom of the document, versus scrolling. It's much slower. And another useful tip is Control Click, which will select the whole sentence for you. So you could have just do Control Click versus Control Shift down. We could do it this way, or if you're on your mouse, you can just Control Click and it'll get you the same thing, get you the whole sentence. All right, next up will be some Google Chrome shortcuts, and I think you're going to get a ton of value out of this, since you're going to be spending a ton of time in Google Chrome, and being able to operate it quickly and efficiently is just game changing. So the first one is the concept of the Omnibox. And what this is this big box up here above your bookmarks, below your tabs. And this serves as a unified URL area where you can type in URLs, or you can just start typing your search right there, versus having a separate URL entry or search entry in Internet Explorer and Firefox. So if I want to type in a URL, I can say Amazon.com, and if I could type, so I do that, and it takes me to Amazon.com, or I can just type in Amazon, and it'll Google it for me. And there's a whole bunch of built-in search engines that you can have it search, and I'll go over more of that later. But using the Omnibox is super, super useful, and it's going to make your life significantly easier. But on to some hotkeys. The first one is Control N, and I press those at the same time, and it opens up a new window in Google Chrome for me. And that's useful if you're kind of having separate if I have like one window open for just my searches on one thing, and I just need another window open because I have too many tabs open, then I can press Control-Shift-N, and this opens up an incognito window. And what this means is that it's no longer using any of my saved cookies or passwords or things like that, and it's a totally separate browsing session that will not track your history and will delete all of the information you'll get from websites, and so there's no kind of trace of where you've been, kind of thing. And you can use that as you please with Control-Shift-N to open up that incognito window. Then next one is going to be the middle mouse button, and what that does is it opens up a tab on a link. And probably should just go over tabs real quick. So it used to be with like Internet Explorer, where you used to have like 10 windows open, and each window was its own web page. And what Google Chrome has done is it makes your sessions into tabs. So rather than having a whole ton of windows, I just have a bunch of tabs open at the same time, and much easier for navigation and tracking your internet session. And what we'll do, so with middle click, is if I have a series of links here, and let's say I want to open up these first three ones, rather than I could click each one and read it, and then click back and then go to the next one, or I can use my middle mouse button and I just click with the middle mouse button, and it opens up these links into new tabs. And so if you're in search results or you're doing whatever, it's so much faster to be able to open up these while they'll load in the background, and then when you're done with your search results, then I can start clicking through and looking at the ones that I want to look at. Next middle mouse one is to close tabs. You can press this little X here, or I can just middle mouse click those, and they'll delete themselves automatically for me. And very helpful. And the other way of deleting them, or if you don't want to use your mouse at all, which I wouldn't recommend, or I do recommend not using your mouse, is Control+W, and this will close the tabs automatically for you, and very, very quick. Then if you need to reopen tabs, which a lot of people don't know that that's an actual function, you can either right click and click reopen close tab, or you can use the shortcut here, which is Control-Shift-T. And so Control-W closes tabs, and Control-Shift-T reopens tabs. So I press Control-Shift-T, and it'll just reopen all the tabs I had open in order. So if you ever accidentally close tabs, thing like that, it's not gone forever. You just press Control-Shift-T, and you're good to go. Your next tab one is Control-T, which just opens a new tab in Google Chrome for you to type in a URL or to type a search result or search something. So what I'll do is, let's say if I'm anywhere I am, I'm over here in Gmail working, I need to do a quick Google search. I'll just press Control-T and immediately start typing, and I've got my search going. Very, very fast versus moving to my mouse, clicking this button here, which opens up a new tab as well. Or right clicking and pressing new tab. So wherever I am, if I'm typing in an email here, blah 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 blah. I need to Google something for a question I have. I have to move my hand to the mouse, move up here, click this, move my hand back, and start typing. Versus, I'm over here typing. Oh, I forgot something. Yep, let me quickly Google it. Very, very quick. Next one is for navigating tabs, and what you can do here, rather than you have all these tabs open, and I can move my hand to the mouse and then click the tabs, or I can do a cool thing and use Control Tab or Control Shift Tab. So if I am in, I'm over here in Gmail now, and I want to move, around here, I can just press Control Tab, and that will move me forward through all the tabs that I have open. Very, very handy for navigating tabs. Then if I want to move backwards, I press Control Shift Tab, and that will move me backwards. So it's kind of like the same kind of concept as being in the fields, of a web page or wherever, but just Control Tab and Control Shift Tab for moving back and forth. Then next one is searching Google. So a lot of times you'll be on a website and you need to search for a phrase or something like that. So if this is an interesting phrase to me, I can select it. And what I could do would be to copy and paste it into Google, or I can just right click it and then search Google for that phrase, and it'll automatically search it for me much faster than either manually typing this in or doing copy paste, and very, very handy. Then the next one is going to be bookmarking tabs, and if you do this, you can always come up here and click star, which will bookmark it, and you can change the folder or change the name, or I can just press Control D, and that will do the same function. And if I need to bookmark all my tabs, let's say I have a session of tabs open, and I want to save it, I don't want to lose it when I reboot my computer or something, I can press Control Shift D, and that will bookmark all the tabs, and I can put it into a new folder, and put the date on it or whatever I want to do there. Very, very handy. Then the next tip is going to be Control Enter when I'm typing in a URL. So let's say I need to type in dog.com. So what I could do would be to type in dog.com, press enter, gets me to dog.com. If I want to speed it up a little bit, though, what I can do is I can type in dog and then press Control Enter, and it'll automatically wrap the text that I've typed in www and then .com. So if I'm typing in text here, I just type in .com. Same with Amazon. I can just press .com. Control Enter to get the .com. And probably text was a bad website to type in, but very helpful. Very helpful there. I'll speed you up. And Control Z and Control Y for undoing and redoing will work in Google Chrome as well. And very helpful in Microsoft Word when you make a mistake or whatever. But let's say I type in dogs. Dogs are great. And then I delete great and press Control Z, it will undo the last action that I did. And if you ever accidentally delete something in your search result or when you're typing something, just press Control Z and it'll undo it. And in Google Chrome, it'll go back a very long ways of tracking your actions. And so it's very helpful to not lose things that you've done. Next one is also a tab management one. Is if I want to access this first tab right here, let's say I'm over here, I need to access this first tab. So what I can do would be to do Control Tab. It gets me to the front one, or I can do Control Shift Tab and get me there that way. Or what I can do is press Control 1, and that will bring me to the first tab on the bar. So press Control 1, brings me there. Control 4 brings me here. So on and so forth. So if you have, like I do up here, I have these as pinned tabs. And to get pinned tabs, they're basically tabs that can't be closed unless you purposefully do it. So these regular tabs have X's and can accidentally be closed and take up a bunch of space. But I know what these tabs are. So one, I don't need the description of the title. I just see the favicon here. I know what it is, and I have them there all the time in all my Google Chrome sessions. So wherever I am, I just press Control 1. I'm automatically in Gmail real fast, and very helpful for kind of navigating that way. We're gonna have a few more Google Chrome tricks. First one is some more tab management things. So this one is going to be Control and Shift clicking tabs, and so Control and Shift click is a thing that works, throughout Windows and other applications. But Control click allows you to select multiple things. So I've got a bunch of tabs open here, and I want to click this one. So I have 3 tabs selected, so I can do a couple different things with these. I can just drag them now, so they're all together. I can click and drag them to a new window, or drag them back into another window. Or I can press Control W, delete them all at the same time, and then I can do I could bookmark all those selected ones, and very, very helpful. The other one I could do is Shift click tabs, and what Shift click does is it selects all the items between your currently selected one and the one you click on. So I do Shift click, and it selects all these in between. If I'd done Control click, it just would have selected these 2, but I do Shift click, and it selects these 4 tabs for me. And then I can do the same thing for moving those tabs around. Kind of helpful for if you have a big session open. Then next one is the back button, and what the back button does over here. Normally you just click back, you can take you back one page. But what we can do would be to long click the back button, and you can see the history of this tab. And so if I want to go back on multiple ones, or whatever I want to do, I can just long click it with my left mouse button, and I can select which one I want to go to, and it'll take me to that directly versus clicking back a couple of times. And it's helpful if you have, when you've gone through 10 different pages on the same tab. Then another useful trick is I press Control P to print, and I've got my printer here. But if I want to save this as a PDF, I can do that in Google Chrome natively. And so what I'll do is I'll change the destination here to be Save as PDF. And so now I can save it as a PDF on my desktop and share it or print it later or whatever I want to do. But it's saved as a PDF, and that's you don't have to install anything that's native to Google Chrome. Very, very helpful. Then next one is doing the pages that you have available at startup. And so we're over here to the settings portion of it. We'll click that, click settings, and then we do the on startup area where we have, you can either open up a new tab, so it's just a blank Chrome session. I can continue where I left off, so it reopens all the tabs that I had open previously, or I can have it open a specific set of pages. And I used to have it so that it would open a specific set of pages like Gmail and then some other sites that I visited regularly. But now I just have it open up all just where I left off, which will automatically includes my pinned tabs over here. And so I already have everything I want. And then if Google were to close unexpectedly or something like that, I don't lose my session, which is kind of painful when that does happen. All right, the next one is going to be installing search engines into Google Chrome beyond just the regular Google one that comes up in the Omni box, which we know. So I'll give you a demonstration of this. Let's say I want to search YouTube. So I can go to youtube.com, type it in, Control Enter to wrap it up, and do a search right here. Or I could do an installed search engine, which I have, and type in YT, type in dog, and I get the same result. It automatically searches YouTube for me. The same thing applies to a whole bunch of other websites that I've installed. I'll show you how to install websites. But let's say I want to search Amazon, type in AZ, good to go. It's going to search for it. Type in Wikipedia, it's going to search for it. Going to try Craigslist, searches for it. You can do this for like any website. And I have it set up for probably 10 different websites that I search regularly for things. But infinitely faster than going to the website and then searching. We just do Control T, type in your short code, eBay, and I'm searching it directly. That's going to save you 5 seconds per search times how many searches you're going to do in your lifetime. Or it'll just be faster to install it. And here's how to install it. So let's say I want to install a search engine for YouTube. So what I need to do to make that happen is I go to YouTube, and I'll just do my Control Enter to get straight to YouTube. Then I'm already my cursor's already in the search bar, so I'm going to start typing, and I'll just search for dog. And the reason we're doing just a test search here is we need to be able to find out where in the URL our search query goes, so that Google knows to replace it. So I see up here on YouTube results search query equals dog. So I know where the text goes for when you type in a search result. So I'll do is I'll press Control A, Control C, and we're going to use this URL to have Google make our a search engine for us. So I scroll down a ways, and Google automatically recognized that YouTube is a website that has a searchability in it, and so it added it for me. But let's say that this didn't exist, and I just had to add a totally new site. So first I'll type in youtube.com. You can just type in YouTube if you want. This is just for your knowledge about what the website is. I'm going to have a keyword, and for YouTube, let's do YT. Makes sense. And then we're going to, over here, this is where we put in the URL for the search query. And it's got a little kind of ghosted text that says URL with %s in place of query. And so %s is going to be Google's code to know when this user types in a search query and they want to search YouTube, I'm going to replace the %s with their query. So I'm going to press Control V to paste in the YouTube search results link, and then I find the dog, the thing that we search for. I type in %s, and then I'm done. It's nice and saved, and now we can test it out. I do Control T, open up a new tab, type in YT, press space. It looks like it's searching YouTube. We'll do a test search and see what comes up. Bam, automatically search YouTube for us. Really, really cool. And this works with basically any site. So I highly recommend, if you're browsing, sites regularly or searching sites regularly, installing these search engines is going to be, very, 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 very useful for you, and highly recommend it.